Okay, so Hillary, tell me and the unlearners who are both listening and watching, what was your great unlearning?
Okay, patience. Letting go of being the control freak that I never knew I was until a situation forced me to realize that I am and I need to let go. So,
Mhm.
patience is the one thing that I had to learn.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Okay, I can't wait to unpack that because I personally am a bit of a control freak myself. So this is going to be really, really juicy. Thank you so much, Hillary. And to you, unlearner who is listening and watching this episode of the Unlearners podcast, welcome. Let's get started with today's episode.
The Unlearners. Learn, change, the unlearn. I think if you take one courageous step at a time, it's going to be such a the unlearn. Learn, change, grow.
Okay, so Hillary, thank you so much for that. I think the way you started us off with the intro was with the word patience. And we live in a world that teaches us to go, 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 for us to be hustlers who keep going after what we want and to break doors down. You know, there's sayings that say, if the door doesn't open, break it down. And, and it's like a fast paced idea around how things are supposed to be. Talk to me about the nature of the person you were when you still believed this. Talk to me about who you used to be before you had to unlearn that and be a little bit more patient.
Okay. I'm one of those people that I'm used to being in control. And fortunately for me, my day-to-day activities, tasks, I was in control all the time. Even when things would go out of control, I would still be in a position to come up with a plan B within my control. So, like, I think, yeah, life was just going according to especially professional life where when it comes to tasks and activities, I would do things like accordingly and it will go according to plan. So I was used to being in control until the big happened. And yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh my goodness. Now, you see, now you're making me want to go straight into this big thing that happened because, I'm all about the tea. But before we go into that, I want to get a bit more detail, Hillary, about where that came from, because I think that it's so important for us to build our self-awareness by understanding where some of these ideas and these mindsets actually started. Can you possibly pinpoint a certain experience or a teaching or a mentor of some sort in your childhood or maybe at work that really contributed to building this idea within you?
Oh my gosh. Up until this moment, I actually never thought of it that it would go that far. Like it's going, I think, without revealing my age, 1977, I think. Yes. I was doing, I'm from the old school, so I was doing sub B. Like I was 8 years at the time. And I used to think it's because I was a Miss Goody Two Shoes, one of those children that listens. And yeah. So like when I was doing Subway, I actually paid my school fees from my savings. So I
Okay,
know.
wait. Wait, I hope I'm not mishearing this. But you were 8 years old.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You've just taken Miss Goody Two Shoes to another level.
And anyway, it's not like it was a lot of money. I mean, back in the day, it was not even more than 2 rands or so. But it was from my savings that I had at the time. I took it because we were told the day before that tomorrow we must bring school fees. I don't know if I did tell my mom that they wanted school fees or I just took my money and I paid. So like I've always been organized like that in everything, like all the way from, primary. And the other time, I realize now that this being in control tendencies showed up when we started using ATMs. Okay, I was not working. I'm not that old. When my mom started using, getting her salary and she could use get the money from the ATM. I remember the first year she got that, the December salary, she sent me to get some money. And I remember that, every year, January, we're struggling with, the January challenges. And I don't remember the exact amount. I'll just make an example. Let's say she said I must withdraw 500. I withdrew 700. And I took the 200, I put it aside. Gave her the 500, didn't say anything. She didn't ask, and all was well. Come January, as usual, broke. And I had 200. And I was like, no, I'll go buy you a ticket. And then I have enough money for my sister and myself to get a stationery for us to go back to school. So, and she asked me, where do you get the money? I told her that, it's from the December thing. So I've always been in that. So it then became a norm. December, she will say, hey, don't forget to take your money. But now she knew I had the money. And before even Christmas, she will say, hey, can I get 20 Rand from the stash? And no, nobody would get it. Like you won't even find it. So yeah, I think it's because from that young, thinking that, January is coming in and there's a struggle. Let's plan for it. I've always been that. So, and I took that in my professional work, try to always be in control and know what is coming.
That is amazing. When I hear that story, it is so powerful because it shows just how during childhood, a lot of our beliefs are formed, but also reinforced during that time. Like if you believe something and you want to prove or disprove it, childhood is one of the best times to do that. But here's my question then, Hillary, because I know a lot of people are going, how? But this is sounding like such a good, mindset. It's a great way to carry yourself. At which point then did you go, you know what? This is now actually, there's a limit, or maybe I've crossed a line of some sort. Talk to me about the moment where you came to that realization, where something that served you and your family so positively at one stage of your life then turned to be something that actually started to be disempowering.
Okay. I think we're having poor connection. Can you hear me, Zanele?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I can hear you now. I lost you for a sec. Okay, I think like I say, being in control planning always felt right. It was easy and good for me until I found myself in a position where I had to raise a unfair labor practice case against my employer. That was a big deal. It's something that I didn't see coming. I didn't even know I had it within me to challenge my employer to that extent. But it felt right because it's something that was supposed to have been done. Everybody agreed, but it was never done. So I was just challenging the fact that why are we not addressing this? And I think for the first time, I had no control over the process because you have internal process that have to unfold. There are timelines depending on availability of different stakeholders. And in the meantime, this whole thing has turned my life upside down because I thought it was just an easy thing because everybody knew what needed to be done. So how, guys, why are we not doing what supposed to be done? So, and the reason why I'm saying patience is what I learned throughout all of this. It literally took 3 years for the whole thing to be resolved. So you can imagine in the 3 years, it's business as usual. I have to show up, I have to deliver while dealing with everything that this situation is causing me. And at some point, the old me wanting to control and make things happen. And I will be speaking to my legal representative, like, come on, push, like, why are we not doing this? Why are we not going to court? And it's something that, and he would always tell me, no, Hillary, we have to do this first. We have to do this. But like literally 3 years of that. So I think the second year, 24 months, 28 months into it, I realized that, you know what, you just need to and make peace with the situation, do what you need to do, and hope that you'll get a date soon until 3 years later.
Wow.
So that is a workplace. And yeah. No, I was just thinking that in as much as it took its toll on me, but it's the nature of the beast. The workplace is like that. But I'm thankful that we are in a country where we have processes that we can follow to address such.
You know what I'm liking so much is both your vulnerability, but also your courage in sharing the connection between wanting to be the kind of person who takes ownership of your journey, because that's what I think that's what control freaks might hide behind, is that idea that we want to take ownership and we want to be courageous. But the other side of that, like you're saying, and I've never heard patience be on the other side of control, being a control freak, if we can, and that term is maybe a little bit contradictory, but that term on the other side of it being patience. And I love that, because
be, do, have, not have, do, be. Most of us think that we have to have the things we need so that we can do the things that the ideal version of ourselves does, and then we'll be that person. But if you've ever been on a transformation or change journey, you will know that you actually have to embody that person. Ask yourself, what does that person do? Who are they? And when you can embody that person, then you will do what that person does and have what that person has. Good news is that the UnLearning experience, our 3-day transformation retreat, is designed for exactly that. If you know that you're dreaming about a version of yourself that's going to take the next level of performance, then this is an opportunity for you to unleash that version of yourself by taking stock of what might have been an amazing year, or also maybe not so much, and then planning strategically, intentionally, in a beautiful environment for the next year in a way that will allow you to be, then do, and then have. I'll see you at the UnLearning experience.
And I love that, because you mentioned that when you had a conversation with your legal advisor, one of the things that he advised was allow the process to happen. And that for me is so beautiful, because on the other side of wanting to control everything, of wanting to assert yourself very strongly in a situation, is the ability to allow the process to happen and to allow the process to take its course. So did you find that process of letting go and allowing the process was an easy one? And would you say that there was an element there of not trusting the process, which led to you saying, no, I need to do this myself because the process can't protect me or it can't do what it should? Talk to me about that. Do you think there's a bit of trust that's involved there?
Yes, there was that, because I felt like if I'm not following up, if I'm not pushing and it's quiet, nothing is happening and it might just go through the cracks. So I needed to be constantly in conversations, knowing what was happening. And but when I got to a point where I realized that, you know what, it doesn't matter how much you fight, you cannot push this. And I remember around that time, you know, there's always activities happening in the country, and there is an urgent case going to court. And I'm like, why can't my case go now? What kind of, you know, like case is just like, I mean, this situation just happened last week. They are in court today. Why am I not? And I had to learn that no. Not all cases are equal. Yours it's just the situation. We'll get there. So like I had to get to a point where I accept and really tell myself that, you know what, let go. And I think that's where I had to even bring in my belief that, you know what, God is in control. Just let it go. Just let it go. And it started to feel less heavy on me, if I may put it like that, because I'm now then not stressing about it every day, just doing, getting on with life like nothing has happened. When it hits me on the days that it hit me, I'll just attend to it, allow myself to cry if I need to. But most of the days from the time I decided I'm going to let go were not as heavy as the days before, while I was still like pushing, fighting, Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I can feel that energy from you, that energy of just, you know what? I'm just gonna, which is so beautiful. It's so inspiring to watch people do that. But here's my final question. And as we go into the person you are now and how you apply that unlearning, is do you find that it's easy when a certain situation teaches you something, where a situation teaches you that I need to unlearn being overly assertive and allow the process to take charge or allow the process to unravel? Do you find that it's easy to translate that learning into other areas of your life? Or do you find that it's been a little bit of a struggle? Maybe yes, you can apply it at work now because this was a work-related issue, but at home you just go, no, I have a schedule for everything and everything needs to be done at this time. Dinner is at this time. Do you find that it's easy to translate lessons learned in one area of your life or generally into another area?
It was not easy in the beginning, but I now know that it is important to do that. And the reason why I'm saying that is I believe that if life teaches you something and you don't get the lesson, or you get it and you apply it only in one area and think that this is the only area where it applies and get on like nothing happened in other areas, life will teach you the same lesson in those other areas. So and as a result, now when I'm experiencing a challenge, I will literally, after getting over like, why me, why? Like I will pause, okay, fine, what do I need to learn out of this? Because there's always a lesson. And I always believe that until you learn the lesson that you are supposed to learn, you're not going to be promoted to the next grade. It will come up again until you get the lesson. So I now use it in all areas. And I think you mentioned courage. I never knew I had courage. I would never use the word courage in the same sentence with me. It's when people who knew me and knew what I was going through, and they will, oh, you are really brave. Where do you get the courage from? And I'm like, oh, I'm just doing what I think is the right thing, So, so I now learned that, with that you grow, because you never know what you can handle until you push through it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I think that lesson, just specifically out of everything that we've also spoken about, just that lesson of being able to transfer and unlearning a theme from one area of your life into others is so beautiful, because there's this quote that says, wherever you go, there you are. So it means that wherever you go, you're taking yourself with you. You go into this relationship, this situation, at work, at home. It's you. It's the same version of you with your biases and your beliefs and your limitations. All of those things are exactly the same. You're the common denominator throughout all of those areas. And so that lesson, that those challenges will just keep coming back to teach you that lesson, is so beautiful, because it says that it's you at the end of the day that needs to shift a perspective so that you can apply a new lens or framework or way of seeing things to every situation. I love that. So talk to me now as we close off about what you are doing now to consistently remind yourself to allow things to unfold as they should, to be a little bit more patient every single day. Is there a practice that you have? Are you saying affirmations? Are you sticking little Post-it notes in your bathroom? What is it that you're doing to remind yourself to stay on this journey of letting go and then grabbing hold of this beautiful patience?
Okay. I'm intentional. Like, even the word intentional, I actually realized that I never used the word intentional. So like I think one thing that helps me calm down is when I exercise. haven't been doing a lot of it lately, I must confess. But it's one thing that helps me calm down. But also lately, with all the things that life has been throwing at me, I find that I was not even aware that I had shifted in my position as a being raised Christian and practicing Christian. So like lately I find myself almost coming back to that belief and trusting God. Because before it was like, okay, yeah, there's God, but like I have to do. So like now I really am growing back into what I know God is in my life. And my initial reaction to things when they happen, I will like, why? And then I remember that this is not the first time. It won't be the last time. And even in the other times, God came through for me and he will come through for me. And that somehow grounds me and help me handle whatever the situation is. And I'm ready, whatever it is that it throws, I know he's in control. So, and and it's actually very strange, especially because I'm bringing the fact that I'm Christian and I honestly am a baby in that space. So, but it's something that I find as lately that it's something that grounds me and help me handle whatever the situation.
I like that. Because often when we say to situations, bring it on, I'm ready, whatever it is, we're often saying it from that perspective, right? That perspective, I can handle it. I can do what I need to do. Yes. I can make all the lists and, run all the strategies. But I think what you are saying that is definitely going to be my big takeaway from you, Hillary. And as someone who's a life coach, I can just imagine how much value your clients get when they work with you. Mm-hmm. But that idea of shifting your bring it on from a place of saying, I can handle whatever it comes, I can control it, I can make it work, to I'll find a way. I'll allow the process to take hold. I'll do what I can and allow all of the other, whether it's a strategy, whether it's a belief, whether it's a religious practice, whatever it is, I will allow my tools and my strategies to support me through the process. I don't know, but that just feels so different. It feels like, yes, I can handle it. It feels so empowering compared to bring it on, I'm ready to fight, which feels a lot more, I don't know, it just feels very heavy and it feels like there's so much responsibility there. What are your thoughts on that?
No, even when you are unpacking it the way you are unpacking it, and it's exactly how I feel it, I can literally feel the relief that yes. I don't have to carry, because like life will always, and I do allow myself to, whatever feelings, thoughts that I go through, I allow myself to go through that. And even when I'm petty, I know I'm being petty and I'm like, it's okay to be petty. But I'm also mindful of the fact that I don't want to dwell in, especially if it's negative feeling or negative thoughts for too long, because like it is heavy. So I think in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say now is like my self-awareness of how I react or respond to whatever comes to me. I'm very much aware of it all the time. Even like I say, even when I'm being petty, I know I'm being petty, and I tell myself it's okay to be petty.
Yes.
So, I think so. You don't have to have it all together all the time.
What a beautiful sentence to end off on, because it takes us right back to the beginning where we started. You don't have to have it all together all the time. You don't. And it's okay. I love that. You are such a light and just such an amazing human being. I appreciate you so much, but I also appreciate how you carry on showing up for yourself, your resilience in your own life, but also in supporting others, for me is so, so inspiring. And I hope that whatever it is you're working on right now, whatever you're putting together, whatever you're dreaming about, whatever you're building, just continues to grow but also that you embrace unlearning as you continue on your journey as well, because there's still going to be a lot, right? Are you expecting to do a lot more unlearning from now on?
Yes, like there's a communication that you sent last week, and I'm like, why is she sending this now about the imposter syndrome? Like, why?
Yes. Was it at the perfect time for you?
Like really now, really now. So like those are the things that I know I need to work on. Letting go of wanting things to be perfect before you move on to the next phase. And, so like, and that is why that communication was like, oh, this is personal. But yeah, the typing was just perfect. So those are the things that I need to let go of, because we all work in progress all the time.
I love it. Thank you so much, Hilary, for your time on this episode, for your beautiful gems. And I know that the people who are watching and listening to this, the unlearners that are watching and listening, are going to appreciate this episode for everything that you've shared, but also who you are. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zanele, for the opportunity, and all the best with the podcasts.
Thank you so much. Okay, Unlearner, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Unlearners podcast. It's been a pleasure having you. And you heard Hilary give a little bit of a nudge around our weekly newsletter. So if you are not signed up on my newsletter list, please make sure you do. There are constant ongoing nuggets there about how you can support yourself through your learning, changing, and growing journey as well. I will see you on the next episode of the Unlearners podcast. It's been myself, Zanele Njapa, the Unlearning Lady, saying goodbye.
The Unlearners. Learn, change, be unlearned. I think if you take one courageous step at a time, it's going to be such the Unlearners. Learn, change, grow.